coverage of the Florida Panthers championship parade.
Feeling the thunder, OKC is the NBA's newest champion.
And beach Banderaso, Boca Junior fans show us how they bleed blue and yellow. All of this and more on the sideline.
Hello South Florida and welcome to the Sideline, the place where you get all the highlights for your South Florida teams. I'm Julian Liscano.
I'm Nicolette Esper and the Sideline starts now. The Florida Panthers bring home the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row, and their fans took over Fort Lauderdale Beach to celebrate.
Caplin News reporter Jose Carlos Rodriguez was there and takes us to the heart of Panthers Nation.
We're here in Fort Lauderdale in South Florida, showed up celebrating yet again another Panther championship. Thousands of Panther fans took over Fort Lauderdale, packing the streets to celebrate the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Many fans were already thinking about what's next.
You gotta believe, 30 years it took us to get to this point. Now look what we're doing. Twice in a row, going back for a third time. See you on the beach next year. Let's go!
The fans came loud, and some even showcased their own version of the Stanley Cup.
It's beautiful. Everybody's singing, everybody's cheering on. You know, I passed through the crowd with the cup. Everybody's like, yeah. So, you know, it's a very high energy here. Everybody's happy. We're all excited.
As the red buses rolled by with the 2025 champions, party on the street continued, with chants echoing through the crowd, fans waving their flags, and Panther pride everywhere you looked. And while most were celebrating a title, a couple added a different kind of ring to the parade.
I surprised her 2 days ago, did a whole date day of all our first date places. I went around and I got down on one knee and popped the question, gave her the ring, and well, here we are.
And before the day was done, fans had one last message for their team.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing hockey to South Florida.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You guys are definitely like a family, and you can see it in the way you interact with the community. You love us, we love you.
2 years, 2 titles, and a city that's all in. The Panthers brought the cup, but the Panther Nation brought the party. Reporting for Lauderdale, I'm Jose Carlos Rodriguez, Caplin News.
We're switching over to another finals big win for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who won their first title in a Game 7 win over the Indiana Pacers. Finals MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander set the tone for the Thunder with 29 points and 12 assists. Meanwhile, Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton suffered a heartbreaking Achilles injury in the first quarter, which proved to be too big of an obstacle for Indiana to overcome. Despite the Pacers leading 48-47 at halftime, the Thunder played lockdown defense in the second half, which blew the game open, and they never looked back. The final score was 103-91, and that does it for basketball in 2025.
Well, the season might be over, but basketball continues to bring in the news. The Phoenix Suns agree on a trade to send two-time champion Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets. The trade includes Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the 10th pick in this year's draft, as well as 5 sound-round picks. Durant was at the Fanatics Fest on stage in New York City on Sunday when he received the news. Durant played his 62 games this past season, averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. With Durant joining the Houston Rockets, this will be his 4th team in 6 years. Durant returns to the state where he played college ball at the University of Texas for 1 year.
We talked a little bit about that last week, but I'm glad the speculations for where KD is headed is over. Switching over now to baseball, the Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves went head-to-head in a 3-game series, resulting in the Marlins getting the upper hand, finishing 2-1. The two teams split the first 2 games, making the 3rd game critical since they won't meet again until August. We saw Marlins right fielder Kyle Stauer end a 31-game home drought, and Sandy Alcantara pitched 6 strong innings. The Marlins took down the Braves 5-3 on Sunday in the final game of their matchup.
The USA edged past Haiti 2-1 to finish atop Group D with a perfect 9 points in the Gold Cup. Attacker Malik Tillman showcased his precision in final third, netting 3 games as the U.S. cruised through group stage, winning all 3 matches, scoring 8 goals and conceding just once. They now shift focus to a quarterfinal clash with Costa Rica as they aim for their 8th Gold Cup title.
Continuing on with soccer, Argentina's Boca Junior faces off against Germany's Bayern Munich last Friday in their second game of the Club World Cup group stage.
But even before that, I had an opportunity to go to the pre-game party that was also called a Banderaso. And let me just say, the crowd was nothing short of electric.
They're champions of the world and two-time champions of South America. But today it's not Argentina in the spotlight. It's Boca Juniors. The much-anticipated match between Boca Juniors and Bayern Munich is happening this Friday. And right now we're at the Banderaso to check out how the fans are feeling ahead of tomorrow's game.
No, these aren't the streets of Buenos Aires. This isn't even Argentina. Fans from the iconic Argentine soccer club Boca Juniors have come all the way to the shores of the 305 to put up a Banderaso unlike anything you've ever seen before. Although they're set to face off against a tough Bayern Munich side, these fans are more than optimistic that they can push their team to a victory.
We're going to play and see. The best team will show through. You always need to show up for your team. It doesn't matter the result. This right here is amazing. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. This is Boca.
Emotions were high, and the excitement reached a fever pitch as fireworks and beating drums echoed throughout the air. For these Boca fans, it wasn't just a team. It represented a piece of each and every one of their hopes, passions, and dreams.
I think for Boca fans, it means what we always say we are, and that's not only the best fan base, but one of the best teams in the world. Recognize everywhere you want, anywhere that you would think. They know Boca Juniors. You show them the logo, 10 out of 10, they're going to tell you it's Boca. Not only are recognized for what we've done before in the past, but past idols, Maradona. You know, we know what we are. We know what we translate, and not only that, we know what people can expect from us. So I think for Boca fans, it's another chance to show at a global stage who we are and why we are that.
As you can see here, the fans are electric, from drums and chants to the sea of blue and yellow. La Boca fans have brought a piece of La Bombonera to Miami Beach. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Julian Liscano.
Now it's time for a new segment where this week we focus on the Club World Cup.
Here we have Alejandro Hernandez in the control room to talk about what's going on with the European teams and how their performances haven't been the same as the years prior.
Good morning, everyone, and let's kick this off. As match week 2 of the Club World Cup wraps up, here are some of my biggest takeaways from the tournament thus far. What I believe has collectively been the biggest surprise is the strong performance from North and South American teams. Inter Miami stunned FC Porto, overcoming a 1-0 deficit to secure a 2-1 victory, sparked by Lionel Messi's brilliant free kick. Botafogo delivered the tournament's biggest shock to date, escaping with a 1-0 triumph over reigning Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain. Finally, Boca Juniors capped off the string of impressive performances with a 2-2 draw against Benfica and holding their own in a close 2-1 loss versus Bayern Munich. While some may chalk these results up to European clubs underperforming, I believe they reveal something more significant. I believe the gap between European soccer and the rest of the world isn't as wide as everyone may have thought. The fact that these clubs are fielding their strongest starting 11 demonstrates that they're taking this tournament seriously and not treating it like some preseason or exhibition match. With all that being said, I believe the expansion of the Club World Cup has been a massive success. These surprising results have shown that upsets can happen at any moment, making every match must-see TV. I'm Alejandro Hernandez, and back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Julian, let's head over to our favorite segment of the week, biggest W and L's. My biggest win, no doubt, goes to LSU baseball for cementing its dynasty in Omaha. The Tigers took down Coastal Carolina 5-3 to clinch their 8th College World Series title, which is their second in the last 3 years, and the SEC's 6th straight. The win was built on a 4th-inning offensive eruption, and LSU loaded the bases. Then Chris Stanfield and Derek Currell came through with 2 RBI hits that broke the game open. On the mound, Anthony Evanson handled business in Game 2 after Cade Anderson threw a complete game shutout in 1, earning him the most outstanding player, with head coach Jay Johnson now the fastest to win 2 titles at one school. LSU's baseball legacy just got even stronger. But they didn't just win, they owned the moment, and when it mattered most, LSU delivered like champions.
Well, they definitely are champions, but for my W, we're heading straight to the Club World Cup, where this week, the Brazilian football club Flamengo completely dominated and upsetted the Premier League giants Chelsea in the Club World Cup. First of all, this tournament has been nothing short of surprising, Nicolette. Giants like Real Madrid and PSG falling short to teams we couldn't even imagine. This case is no different whatsoever. Chelsea started off strong, with Neto scoring early in the first half, but as soon as they gained the upper hand, Flamengo locked in and completely dominated the match. Sinking in back-to-back goals, Chelsea were unable to find their flow, and the final goal by Wallace Jan handed Flamengo the unbelievable win.
Great win, as you just mentioned. Switching over now to biggest L's, for the week. I gotta give it, going back to the NBA Finals, the Pacers losing Tyrese Haliburton early in Game 7. Indiana's title hopes went down just as fast as Haliburton did. We saw him crumbling to the floor mid-drive with a non-contact injury to his right leg, which was later revealed as an Achilles injury. It cut short one of the most electric playoff runs we've seen in years, and right before the injury, he was cooking. We saw 9 points on 3 of 4 from deep in just the first quarter. So without him, they scored just 91 points in a loss to the Thunder, but it wasn't just a loss on the scoreboard. This was another one of those emotional gut punches. We saw an injury like this with Jason Tatum during Game 4 against the Knicks, where the star player of the series is out, and we know how much that cost. So prayers for Hallie for a speedy recovery, but congrats to OKC. It was definitely a huge win for the week, but I gotta say, everyone felt that loss through the screen. I know I did.
Yeah, definitely prayers up for Haliburton, and hopefully he does have a speedy recovery. But for Mael, we're heading back to the Club World Cup, where in a shocking turn of events, Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain lost to the Brazilian side Botafogo. I mean, first of all, I have to give props to this Botafogo team because they completely showed off their talent with unrelenting fashion. The same can't be said for the PSG, though. I mean, as none of their key players failed to show up where it mattered most. Even though they dominated in shots, possessions, and even in passes, their attempts just fell flat, with Botafogo's defense completely locking them up. I mean, hats off to these Brazilian teams that are dominating this Club World Cup.
Absolutely. We saw PSG, definitely a big loss, but like you just said, the underdogs coming up on those Brazilian teams.
We always love an underdog
Very
story.
exciting. That's a wrap on our biggest W and L's, but just a reminder that if you want to keep up with updates, fun segments, and more from our crew, you can follow our Instagram for all things Sideline. Follow us at sideline.caplin. And that's all the time we have today. I'm Nicolette Esper.
And I'm Julian Lascano. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on The Sideline.